Batman White Knight #5, Sean Murphy doing everything because he's Sean Murphy.
Hey, not colours.
Okay.
No, that's all Ainsworth.
Alright, sure. Okay, not literally
Speaking
everything.
of things that I completely love, it's this series. The fact that it's told this really compelling Batman story just through 5 issues. And with the way that this one goes, it makes me wonder where's it going to go in the last 3? Because we know how it started, so are we going to get resolution to that? Or
That's the thing. I don't know at this point. Is this going to be a case of reverting to Joker and it'll be, this is how things are always going to be? Or is it going to be a story of we can better ourselves? I don't know yet.
And I like that. And just the character beats here with Dick and Bruce getting into a fight and then Barbara having to... I love that she's the one that splits them apart and then, that's what I'm looking for. She really comes down on him for fighting. I was like, you two, you should know better. Why do I always have to get in between you two? So it really adds to that family aspect here,
It does. They're not, they'll fight and stuff, but they're still a family as well.
Exactly. And I like that Dick is trying to talk sense into him. And Batman doesn't want to hear it. And as someone that goes through that on a weekly basis, as you know, I'm the type that once I make up my mind, as you guys well know, that's it. So I'm like, for the first time in a very long time, I'm relating to Batman going, I understand where he's coming from going, but no, this is what Joker does. He lures everybody into a false sense of security, and then he strikes. How come I'm the only person that's seeing this?
Yeah. We also see that his medication to keep him sane is actually starting to make him sick. Like, that's teased early on.
And he basically is like, it's just a flesh wound. Like, it's fine, as he's coughing up blood.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll go see a doctor, and Holly's like, I am a doctor.
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting that Batman goes to see Harley, the original Harley that he's with right now, and basically says, hey, I kind of let you stick around with him because you kind of kept him, not sane, but not quite as awful as he could have been.
You stopped him going off the deep end entirely.
That's kind of, why you were kind of tolerated as existing. Because both me and you know exactly, this is not him at full capacity. If he actually goes completely off the deep end, as you say, we don't even know what he might even do. So I did like some of that stuff. Obviously, you're still dealing with Neo Joker with Mad Hatter, and they're trying to figure things out. They use Ivy to get into the manor.
Cool.
They almost discover the Batcave because at the end, hey, they're sensing more rooms beneath the mansion, but they have to sort of run off before they get a chance to.
I like how they do that, and it says, oh well, they can sense stale air. Plants can, and Hatter goes to Neo Joker. How'd you know that? He's like, well, I can kind of see into Ivy's mind, which I thought that was a fun little take, and I'm sure it'll pay off later.
Yeah.
I think Neo Joker did figure out it was the Batcave because she's as they run away, it's like hooligans, really? That's a bad impression of a rich guy. She's like kind of onto him a bit.
Yeah, because Bruce, you can see that he's still just being Bruce, but then he jumps out in a pink robe to try and pretend that he's scared that there's someone in his house.
That as he's peeking around the corner, his shadow, he's still somehow Batman.
Yeah, it's got the little ears almost. How do you do that?
How about the fact that after so Dick and Barbara are working with what do they call it? What's the acronym?
The GTO.
GTO. And see, I just think of GTFO now. But anyway, so they show up and they're chasing after Neo Joker and that in their various cars. And there's just at the end of the page, Bruce opens the pink robe like it's Superman ripping his shirt open to reveal the Batsuit, and it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
But it also wasn't there earlier, so people were roasting Snyder. Go ahead, Connor.
That's it, because you see him in the room before with the robe half off, and it's like, okay, clearly bare-chested. And then, so he got back into the suit and then put the robe back over the top just so he could have that moment.
Yeah. And he kind of tries to defend that. He goes, or I just messed up. And So I thought that was pretty funny. It is a kind of cool moment, though. The fact that he's doing this in a pink robe and it still looks cool. It's the most anti-Batman thing in the world doing, But
yeah. My favorite part of this show is probably all the car chase stuff that comes after this, though.
That was pretty cool.
You got Montoya. It feels very Mad Max. You've got Montoya Bullock, you've got Babs, Dick, and you've got Duke, all in their own cars, like chasing after Neo Joker.
All in their own Batmobiles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you see, it is, but the Batmobiles in this comic are so normal cars, comparatively speaking.
Until Batman shows up.
Until Batman shows up,
yeah,
and he's
they're a bit more toned down.
Yeah. But yeah, they're all in their own cars and they're all chasing after them. There's a lot of fun action stuff here, which actually ends in. I'm not actually sure how the bridge gets so destroyed, because Batman chases Neo Joker off a bridge, and then after he lands, he turns around and you just see like the bridge collapsing.
Well, it's the big boat goes into the
the big boat.
Pillar.
Yeah, and we already know Gotham's crumbling as it is, because
all the
money.
Money, yeah, you're right.
From the Batman fund was being funneled back into the 1%, right? So I took that was also a take on the infrastructure. Like, this bridge could have survived it had it been taken care of, but it wasn't.
I never caught into that when I first read this, because I mean, I'm seeing the boat go into the pillar now, but when on the main page where it's collapsing, it actually looks like it's collapsing from the top. It looks like it's just splitting apart, rather than because...
It does, yeah. It is on the page before where you see it go into the pillar.
Yeah, I never caught that the first time, though, but when I saw that big, the big panel of it, it looks like it almost looks like something's landed on top of it from like high up.
It does. It's where it's hit the pillar and then it's crumbled in the middle from the top without the support. But it does look funny if you didn't catch that before. I agree.
Yeah. So that's all happening. So Gordon's officially anti-Batman. He's like, put out a warrant for his arrest. This is time.
He's no longer a vigilante. He's a super criminal. Yeah. And I was like, oh boy.
Yeah. So you get Batman tracking down Freeze to find out what his parents are doing in a photo with Nazis. And you've got Neo Joker and Mad Hatter setting up some big cannon looking thing.
Well, they end up going to Freeze's old lair because it looks like a freeze cannon.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I don't know what their goal is here, but they've got a big.
I don't either.
Find out.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing with this pair. They're so unpredictable, like intentionally unpredictable, that it could be anything their plan, and I love that.
Yeah.
It definitely emphasizes the big cannon, though. So I think that's going to come into play in some.
But I mean, I can't see them freezing Gotham, but I definitely see them using it as a wedge point. I don't want to say exactly a hostage because that's not exactly, but Also, we get the really funny visual of Batman getting into Neo Joker's backpack, and it's just the Clayface brain. And even Batman's like, "Oh, what the hell was that?"
Yeah, he's like, "Ugh."
That was pretty good. Yeah, I really love this book.
Yeah, I thought it was a great issue. My favorite stuff was definitely Batman and Harley and their relationship. I think that's a great take on that relationship. Mm-hmm. I think it's so fascinating.
Well, and then even if you think about it in the grander sense, like, she's kind of jumped all over the place. She's become this anti-hero just for being Joker's sidekick. So it would kind of make sense, like, this was all on purpose.
This is like Joker. Part of that journey.
Yeah, is that her kind of alliance with Batman is what kind of led her to becoming an anti-hero. And yeah.
Yeah, no, I like this issue. I didn't love it. You two definitely like the series more than I do. I was a bit more down the last issue. I think this one was better. I still think there's just some core ideas, but just for whatever reason, they're just never going to sit that well with me.
Because you're an awful person.
Yeah.
But also, Harley trying to teach Joker how to fight. Well, Jack how to fight. I thought that was a fun sequence. And he's like, not the face, I'm a council member now. I can't show up with a black eye.
I love that she said, well, just put your makeup on. And obviously, there's the nice double meaning of that.
I thought this issue was better than the last one, though. I think it just mostly flowed from interesting scene to interesting scene. Whereas last time there was a lot of like stuff with Napier making speeches and, public displays that I just wasn't as into as much. Whereas this, the action was fun. And it was doing crazy things with like Mad Hatter and Ivy and all these other things that I was kind of getting into. So I think it's got a lot of interesting little ideas to explore. But I'll love it. Like, I'm definitely not as high on it as you two are.